Hello, 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 hello. La, 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 la. Hey, Squish. I'm just waiting for some people to get in because this is probably going to be a very shitty. I was going to use the blow dryer, but the blow dryer doesn't nearly give enough heat. And I have all these other tools that are right here, and I can't use them, so that's really going to piss me off. So you can see the port well, I guess. So I think my plan was I'm going to use this crappy flux because there was no flux in this kit, but there was solder. So I don't know what type of solder it is. So I think I could probably avoid using the plumber solder. And it did have a decent-ish gun. So I think I'm going to try to tin this now with this solder and see how that goes. So I get to not use the plumber's solder. That's the good news. And pretty much everybody could buy this kit, right? Let's see. I don't know how I'm going to do this without flux. I'm not even sure how I was thinking about cutting the cutting the port in like three, with this snipper. So I'm gonna cut it on the side here. I think I'm gonna try that first, and that's just cutting the port. See how that works. Everybody has a pair of these, right? I mean, I'm not using anything fancy here. Trying to use tools that most people would have. See if I could cut through this. If I could cut through this leg. Okay, yeah, so I could cut through the leg on both sides. That'll save a lot of time and damage. So I'm going to cut through each leg here. Yep, that's going to work, I think. So let's see how that goes. I don't know. I guess you could call that cheating a little. All right, I cut through the leg on both sides here. Now I'm just going to try to heat up the pins. Yeah, I think that's fair, right? Snip the port. Now I'm going to try to use this plumber's flux in here. Ew. It's like the stuff is really disgusting. I'm not liking this in the least. It's so gross. Oh my God. Let me see if you can see it. Oh yeah, you can see that. That's that's gross. Gross flux is what that is. So I'm gonna try, see what it looks like when I heat that stuff up. Ugh. Oh, it stinks too. Oh man, it is not a good smell. It 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 did make all the pins stick together nicely. So there's that. And this was in the kit too, so I'm gonna utilize this. What was in the kit. See if that'll take the flux away. I mean, yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to go for the thing that's not going back for sure is that, well, I mean, obviously, I took the cap off, so whatever. Cap's gone. Cap's gone for good. So let's see. Cut this piece off. This is some crappy ass solder wick too. So probably better off cutting it off. Trying to trying to see if I could get a little more. I think I loosened the flux. I think I loosened the leaded with I'm sorry, unleaded with leaded. So that's good. I don't think I'm going to break any traces. So that's good too. Let's see. Yeah, it's really stinky. but it is coming off. Let me see if I can cut through the rest of that port. Yeah, no, the cap is gone. I'm not gonna listen. If uh if somebody's doing this at home, they're probably not gonna care about that cap either. All right, so that worked out well. I don't think I lost any traces. I mean, it looks like hell, but I don't think I lost any traces. Let's put a little more of this happy flux on. I'm gonna tin. Let's see. I'm gonna take this solder wick, see if I can't expose those traces. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's not coming out that bad. This thing is not hot enough either. Clearly not. Um, Let me try to clean some of that up with some Q-tips. Another common household item. Little Q-tips. See what it looks like. Trying not to kill that diode, but I think I did lose a trace. Pretty sure. Pretty sure I lost a trace. What I'm going to do about it, I have no idea. Hopefully at the ground. See in a second. But I'm pretty sure I lost a trace. Where's that flux? I mean, where's that solder? Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, I lost the ground. So that, yeah, I lost more in the ground. So I lost 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, and 14. Is my mission aborted is the question. Will it, I think it work without, you know what? There's no way to tell it works. This is kind of pointless because I can't even tell you if it works or not just by the fact that this board is a donor board. So I guess we're seeing what not to do at this point. I would never do this to a good board. I'm sorry, but no, thank you. It came with a solder sucker that looks actually pretty decent. This must be the deluxe kit because it has a decent looking solder sucker in it. Question is, can this board get hot enough to actually remove these pegs? I don't think they can. How long would I be sitting there is the question. That's why I got that big heat gun because that heat gun puts out a lot of heat quickly. I should have left the legs so I could actually grab them, but I didn't. Things are not going well at this point. Let's see if I could solder wick maybe with this crappy wick. Gotta be a way to get this stuff. Really wish I didn't lose those traces. But I'll count them. I think, yeah, I think we're screwed already. It's pretty much a done deal. Well, no wonder why people get, every time I see this done by a customer, it seems like that's a common thing. They get solder everywhere. I was trying to figure out how, and clearly this is how. Because you can't get enough heat on these things to actually get the damn thing off. I mean, obviously flux would be better. Like just using my flux that I got would be nice, but I can't use that. So yeah, I this thing doesn't go any higher. Supposedly it's at 450. There's no way this thing is at 450. Let's see, grab some of my more of my. Uh-oh, coming close to that diode. I might have knocked another resist. I think I knocked another cap off. This is way harder than I thought it would be. It's ridiculously hard. It's just not coming out. Like, what's the answer here? The answer would have been to leave those tabs on so I could grab them. But even then, I think just generating enough heat out of the board is going to be extremely difficult with that particular soldering iron. So I'm going to give this a try. Hold on. Hold on. I get something to hold my camera up here. Where is that son of a bitch? All right, I got this big boy right here. I think this will generate enough heat or blow my breaker, one or the other. Let's check it out. It actually is buzzing right now. That's how hot this thing is. It's making a mess. That's for sure. Definitely making a mess. Come on. You know, it would help if somebody got like low melt, maybe. I don't think I could use low melt though. Like that's just not one of those common household things. Let's put a ton of this fine solder in here and see what happens. See if I can't get enough melting going on to suck it up with the solder sucker. Wow, I'm making a total mess. That did not work. Just a complete disaster here. Nope. Let's see. I'll just hold it on here for a while, I guess, with a bunch of solder on it, maybe. See what happens. I mean, eventually it's got to get hot enough, right? It's like 1500. It's like a 2000-watt soldering iron. It's got to get hot enough soon. I think they'll just fall at the bottom. Wishful thinking. I remember one guy, he was like, hey, he did it himself, and like the whole thing was bridged over, and he goes, I don't understand why it doesn't work. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? He's like, no, why? What's wrong? I go, everything's one giant bridge. How do you expect that to work? And he got it off without ripping pads. So I guess I'm a little impressed about that one. He didn't rip pads, at least. So that, I guess in that sense, he was better than me. Right now, I'm making a complete disaster of this thing. It's like I can't get enough heat on this board. And I could try that flux again, but it's so nasty. Obviously, it needs it. All right, here we go. Try night flux again. I should probably put something underneath it, like a box or something, just so I don't have to clean up this crap later. Oh, it's definitely getting hot enough. Now I see why people make such a mess. I was always trying to figure out like why is it so messy, but now I completely understand. There's just no way anybody could do this with regular household items. It's impossible. All right, I do hear it starting to move. Imagine sitting here like this and like with your $500 PlayStation. Be like, yeah, I tried everything I could. That's such a mess. This flux is for shit. I wonder if I just use a little bit of my flux to see how that works. Put something underneath this thing and catch it. Still nothing. I should have left those legs out, man. I knew it. I just can't get those hot enough to actually fall out. Damn near impossible. Imagine. I can only imagine somebody actually doing this and be like, and the kids watching as daddy destroys the PlayStation. And then they call me and they're like, hey, I tried to fix it, but I don't understand why there's no picture. And then me being a jerk, I say, are you kidding me? Because this is the hottest iron I have, and it is not even making a dent to this thing. I feel like maybe if I had a propane iron or something, it might make a difference, but it's just not getting hot enough to pop those pins through. It's kind of a mess. Daddy, when's my PlayStation gonna be ready? Oh, sometime next year. That one guy asked me, he goes, oh, I tried to change my own PlayStation port, and he was too embarrassed to even bring it. That's how bad it was probably. Yeah, I mean, you see like the amount of heat I'm putting on this thing is I cannot get this thing out. There's no way. And let's see, get some of that fine solder off the board. Just not working. I think Coder tried this at one point. I don't know if he succeeded or not. Gotta watch. I'll watch Coder's videos and see. So yeah, this turns out it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. I wonder if I could even. I wonder if I could recover this at this point. I just want to try. I just want to try recovering this, seeing if I can't make it look good. Just kind of curious with my regular tools because I kind of gave up on this. It's not going to work. I cannot get enough heat in the board with the regular tools. But I do want to see if I could recover any of this right now and see if I could clean it up with my regular tools. And then maybe like maybe like my regular hot air station. And it turns out it was a bad idea. I thought it would be such a good idea and I'd be able to do something, but turns out no. Let's see how bad I wrecked this port. I mean, I could kind of tell already how bad I wrecked this port. It's pretty bad. But let me try. Let me try to get some. I'll use my. I don't know. I'll use solder wick. I'll use that solder wick. still. And I'll use this hot air. I'll use this iron still. I'm just gonna, but I'm gonna tin it. I'm gonna tin it first with a tinner. And let's see, try to clean this up a little bit. I didn't even flux it yet. I'm just trying to clean up the shit I did. So much easier with the hot air. I mean, everything works. There we go. Oh, that was my balls. Just trying to clean up my shit now. I'm going to use regular flux soon too. It's like I just gave up on the whole idea. I know. I did. I did because it was turned out stupid and will not work. So now I'm just trying to see if I could clean up my own mess. Maybe somebody else can try it and succeed. I definitely cannot. Yeah, see, everything just comes right out now. The right flux, the right tools, so much easier. Even this crappy soldering iron works, which is pretty amazing. Ow! I got a call coming in. Give me a second. Dave's unbranded. Dave speaking. Broken. Okay. Yeah, the port. Right. Yep. It's 120. Yeah, it's $125 to fix. So, and usually takes a next day or a day, or the day after. All right. I mean, if you drop it off today, I could probably get it back to you tomorrow. I'm over at Chatham Hill Road in Stroudsburg. Uh, the Where are you? Oh, nobody does it in Lehigh Valley because I gave my number. I gave my number to so many people in the Lehigh Valley. It's hard to believe. Uh, yeah, that's amazing. I do. I've tried. It's hard to. It's geographically hard to advertise in different locations. So you know, yeah, it sounds good. I'll be around. Just let me. Just I'm in a home, not a place. So just call me before you come. That way I know you're coming. All right, no problem. Catch you. Bye. All right, back. So you see, I gave up and whatever, and I even knocked the diode off, and I definitely broke some stuff, and you know, turns out it's much harder than I thought it would be. I thought that these legs would come out because I cut the port in half, but that did not happen. And could I fix this now? Yes, absolutely. I could fix it. Um, am I going to fix it? No, because I don't need it. It's a non-working board, so I'm just cleaning it because that flux really, the plumber's flux is so nasty. So I'm just cleaning that because it's probably toxic to somebody, me, you know. Um, yeah, failure on my part, definitely. Which is funny, like maybe that lady's watching me right now. I'm like, hey, do you do HDMI parts? And I'm like, yeah. And sitting there with a big giant freaking soldering gun trying to get a port off, like monkeys trying to mate, you know? So you see, I knocked 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, and 14. 14 is not that important, but 15, actually 15 is a ground. So let's see, one is gone. No, one is still hanging on for dear life. No, one is gone. Two is there. Three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, and 10 are gone. So there would be a lot of trace repair in this. And then how are you going to do trace repair with uh, like this freaking soldering iron? It would be impossible. So is it possible to change a port? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's possible to change a port with hand tools and crap that you might have laying around your house. Um, I might be wrong, but I just don't think it's possible. What am I doing? Let's see what the back of this thing looks like. I can only imagine it looks pretty bad. Yeah, yeah. It's I got like flux everywhere. I made a real mess. Like my shop is definitely not happy about what I just did. The good news is I didn't knock anything off the back because I didn't get enough heat on the board. The bad news is I didn't get enough heat on the board and I couldn't get the damn board off. Um, like I said, I think if I left the legs longer, probably would have had a better shot at it, but there was just no making that work at all. Like you could see, it's a pretty good mess. It's a pretty decent mess on this thing. Yeah, I would have probably had to fix that, and that would have just definitely sucked on my part. So I do have some other stuff. Yeah, you could see that port is yee. You definitely see there's a couple of pins missing, and I thought I would avoid all that if I could get it out without damaging the pins. That would have been lovely, but it did not happen. Was not happening. um, so yeah, put this board away and I'll show you something else I have going on. Let's see. This guy. I have this. This is my Frankenstein Series X that I have, and I cannot, for the life of me, get a picture out. And yes, these are. So what happened was the connector burned, so I threw two cables that go from the bottom to the top. There are two cables making the connection, so they're guaranteed making a connection. And I have a temporary power supply rigged up. Uh, like I could rig it up to my home lab power supply. This was broken here, but I fixed it. So that was broken, and I fixed that. And basically, what it does is it goes beep on, beep off. And You could actually see in the thermal camera, you could see all the RAM and everything. You can see all the RAM lighting up and everything. So I think what it is probably a Southbridge issue, but um, it doesn't have enough draw to, I don't know, like the initial power current is not strong enough to think that it's actually doing something. It only gives me like 0.16 ish. Like it's not a short. It's definitely not a short. So that's a guarantee. It's definitely not shorted, but it's only giving me like point. Why did I turn that on? It's only giving me like 0.016 of an amp to the on the startup. So I don't think it's actually working. Here, let's see about that. I don't know what you could see, what you can't, but I'm trying to. Oh, is that backwards on you? Yeah, that's backwards. All right, let me try this way. Let's see. Is that backwards? Well, that's not backwards. All right, so if I hit that on, that initial push was an initial push. Did you actually see that? I don't even think you saw that. All right, so sorry, I'll do it again. How do I do this? Well, it's so confusing because the phone is backwards. I'm just going to show it to you this way. So if I hit it on, there's like an initial push, and that's the RAM and everything heating up, and then just shutting off. And then this is it. I only have 0.014 of startup voltage, and it doesn't really show anywhere on any heat signature. So let me transform that picture so that way it's not backwards. Transform 180 degrees. No, I just did the wrong one. Is there any way to undo that? Why does that keep happening? I wonder if there's like a way to do it. I don't know. All right, I did flip it. I managed to flip it. So, anywho, yeah, I have this one here that it'll just beep on, beep off. So really, there's nothing happy going on with this thing, and I wish I could get it working because it's kind of would be cool to have, but I have not been able to get it working at all. I don't even have like any ideas about getting it working. So you see, I'll do a. That's all I get. You can hear it. That's it. And every time I do that, you can actually see the heat signature on the CPU and uh, RAM. They heats up, and then goes off. So I don't think there's, like I said, I don't think there's a short because if it was a short, I would see I would see more voltage on here. I would see more. What's the word I'm looking for? I would see more current flowing through the board if it was a short. So I don't think there's a short. I think everything is actually okay, but I think there might be a problem with the south bridge here. Bin, probably bin. Just got back on my phone. So that's what's going on here. And you see some of the work I put. I actually did this because it was hanging off. So it's it's correct as far as, let me see what you see. It's correct as electronically it's correct. There's no problem here. electronically, this is correct. There's, even though it looks like shit, there's no problem here. It's just if I get it working, it's an Xbox I could have basically. Um, but it doesn't seem like I have any. I ordered a Pico, and the Pico I ordered is they never didn't come in yet. So um, I don't know how long those take to get in, but I think the Pico might give me a better idea what's wrong. Um, yeah. And then if I hook up the Pico, and I'm sure, I'm almost sure it's the South Bridge, and the South Bridge is telling it to turn off. It's, I don't know. This one also has a bypassed ESD as well. So, you know, it's not well. I just don't want to put any money into it unless I get like a picture. If I get picture, then I can change the ESD and put a little more time and effort into it. Um, but as of now, I don't know enough about these things, I guess, is what it comes down to. I don't have any of that shit. I don't have any of that fancy stuff you boys have on your streams. So yeah, if you guys have any ideas on how to get this thing going, um, like I said, I bypassed the ESD, but it wasn't working. It wasn't working before that. So, it's not because of that. You know what I mean? So I bypassed the ESD because there was no 5 volts at the HDMI. Now there's actually 5 volts at the HDMI. So there actually is voltage. Actually, let me show you Bob. Let me bring Bob up and show you that there actually is voltage going on the HDMI. There's Bob. Bob had it somewhere around here. I gotta unplug these things before my house burns down too, because yeah, it was a very bad idea doing that. Let's see. Bob is around here somewhere. I kind of made a mess doing that nonsense, and I had Bob out earlier. Here's Bob right here. So Bob's here. I'm gonna plug Bob in, and I guess I'll give you a view of. I know I'm supposed to have this on-screen stuff, whatever, but I still haven't moved my computer. So, um, yeah, still haven't moved my computer over. So nothing's on screen. I could bring it up on screen, but then I have to do a bunch of stuff. So I'm just going to show you the actual meter. And I got these newer, fancier probes that are pretty cool. Um, so let's see, put it on ground, which is just about anything. Make sure that the powers up, just 12 volts, right? 12 volts, I said. Yeah, all right, 12 volts. This meter's slow, by the way. I don't know if anybody has that. So I'll just go from 19. 18 has 5 volts, right? It's pretty amazing. So I know the 5-volt rail is present. And then I have two 2-ish volts. What was that on? 18? No, that was 16. Has a variable voltage, which I think is correct. And if you go down the line, I think I'm going to find on 13, I believe, 3 volts. So my 5 volts and 3 volts are clearly present in this machine. So I don't know why it doesn't work. The only thing I could think is the South Bridge. And all this happened pretty much after it was like a clusterfuck straight from the get-go. Like because it wasn't working, I I pulled on this cable like trying to get something out, and then that happened, and then I was trying to change this cable, and I'm trying to test stuff, and I think it got because I only had the bottom board grounded. This happened, so it was like a cascade of crap that happened to this particular Series X. Well, who's in here? How many people are actually in here right now? It says 11. It's not many. So if anybody has any ideas about this guy or something I could do at the moment to check, I just showed you like the HDMI, I just showed you like the voltages I have or currently there, and I do get a beep, but besides that beep, I get nothing. I think like probably Lee knows more about these things than anybody I know. Series X's anyway. Um, he seems to be the man. So hopefully one day I could bring this up to him and it could help me out. This is also a generation two, so it doesn't have the anything written on the board, and so that does not help me either. So I have no idea what is what. You know, if somebody says you whatever, I don't know what they're talking about. So I did, what did I change? I did change something on here on the bottom board. There was like a it was some it was some no, it wasn't a MOSFET. It's like a power regulator or something to that effect where I just watched a video and somebody had like some success with getting this to work. It provides 5 volt and 3 volt in the on the SoC one, but it's just nothing happened. Nothing worked. Nothing works on this thing. I don't know what to do about it. There, in my tin of misery. So yeah, that's what's happening with this guy. And let's see, I have another thing that's going on where I have a PS5 that, no, that's the wrong one. I have a PS5 board that every time I hook up every time I hook up anything, it blows this NAND, and now this guy is also blown. So every time I try to do something to this board, something over here ends up blowing out. And it's in a 031 board, and it reeks of weed. Yeah, every time I heat it up, it reeks of weed. But see, it's like something I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. Hopefully one day I can figure it out. But for as of right now, I just kind of gave up on it because what else are you gonna do? You know, if sometimes your ability, you, you know, your fix is limited by your abilities. And right now, I don't know everything about PS5s. And I certainly don't know anything about Xbox Series X. Very bad with these. I pray that it's just the HDMI port anytime one comes in because I don't have like the documentation or the skill level I do with a PS5. At least I know kind of what I'm doing. Who's a negative Nancy? What do you mean it'll never work again? I could get this thing to work. I'm sure of it. That's negative. We don't just give up on stuff just because it has a little couple of trace repairs. What is that? There's a piece of solder stuck in there. Wouldn't that be funny if that's the reason why it wasn't working? Just a piece of solder jammed up in. That can't be. Nope. Well, yeah, that power level is weird too. It's like should be feel like that power level is definitely not looking like a short. So it looks like something else. And again, you just done. So that's what's going on in my world. Sorry about the clickbait. I thought I'd be able to fix that HDMI with just basic hand tools. Turns out it's very difficult, like extremely difficult. Like it'll never happen difficult. I guess now I have to appreciate when people bring their stuff here and they haven't ripped every trace out. I actually have to appreciate them now. Some lady just called me. She's from Allentown area, which is pretty far from me. It's like 45 minutes away. And apparently she can't find anybody in that area to fix HDMI ports. I'm not sure if it's because it's a Sunday or she just can't find anybody to fix HDMI ports anywhere. So it makes me wonder like you know, how busy I would be if I was over there instead of in this crappy town I'm in. Cleaning up my mess, by the way, everybody. Sometimes I don't know, I see all these people that are so busy all the time. Just HDMI port after HDMI port. And yeah, I mean, at least I definitely know how to do that. Fixing these is so much harder. Like Roy had one yesterday, and like Roy, i- if it's glitchy, I had somebody call me before, right? And they said, "Oh, my PlayStation is just shutting off, like in mid game. It's not heat related. It's shutting off in mid game." And I said, "Well, we could, I could look at it, right? I could look at it, charge you $50 and whatnot, but the chances are it's going to be a rabbit hole, and you're not going to get it fixed. And truthfully, you better, you know, this is sound advice from a shop owner. I said, you're better off taking it somewhere like GameStop and getting credit towards a new one. At least they'll give you working machine credit for a new one. And I think they give you like $140 or whatever, instead of me trying to fix it over and over again. And you getting pissed off at me because you brought it back to me 5 times and I still haven't fixed it. And I'm just trying to replace item after item. That's That's not where you want to be. Okay, as a shop owner or just a business owner in general, you got to tell people the right thing to do. Not sometimes the right thing to do is not always what's good for you as the shop owner. Sometimes it's good. You just got to do the right thing. What's good for them. So you know, I keep preaching that. Like somebody called before. Oh, I have a 2016 computer and I think it needs RAM. I said, no, it needs the garbage can. And I said, you're going to put money into a 2016 computer and you're going to expect it to play games. And it's not going to play games. It's going to be miserable because I'm sure back in 2016, you probably didn't put top dollar into it. No, I only spent about 800 building it. So that 2016 computer is most likely going to be uh, it's going to be probably an AMD FX processor, probably most likely 6300 is what I'm thinking. And he's gonna, at that point, what are you gonna you cannot you will not be able to get that computer to run correctly and new games on Steam at that level. So you're better off. I said to him, you're better off just taking it. Uh, you know, I could build you a list and I could build you a computer, or go out and buy a pre-built. I said, truthfully, for the budget that you're looking to spend, I said just go buy a console. Consoles are consoles are inexpensive, right? $300-400, you have yourself a PS5 and you could game. He said, well, the Steam platform's not on PS5, but I said that doesn't matter. A lot of games are cross platform. You know, I don't know a whole lot about games because I don't play games anymore. But I do know that I do know that anything from 2016 is definitely not going to play a game today. Even if you put the best graphics card in the world in it, it's still going to be a piece of crap. What was in 2016? I think that was, if I'm wrong, I think that was like 7,000 series Intel in 2016. So yeah, what were you going to go? It's probably so if you went Intel, you'll have like a sixth or seventh gen Intel. If you went AMD, you'd have like a 6300 FX processor, or maybe if you went high end, you'd have the whatever the I forgot what it was. It was this the 9800 FX processor. I don't know. It was fake 8 cores, whatever, and it wouldn't even load. It doesn't even meet Windows qualifications right now. The FX processor. You can't legit load Windows on an FX processor at this point. So uh, yeah, I basically told him that he should spend his money wisely, not bring a computer to me and get it fixed, unless the computer has some sentimental value to you, and then you have to have it back. But if it's just that you want to play games, I said buy a console. You know, yeah, back in 16, man, 16 was a weird time for computers because even like the top notch, a Intel, Intel top notch was what 7700, 4 cores, 8 threads. That was the top notch back in 2016. I might be off on the top. It might even be in a 6700. So i7 was probably the best. You could, I guess, you could go with like a server grade 2011, right? Back in 16, you could get a server grade. Was it 8? They had 8 sticks of RAM available. I think you could go up to like 64 gigs of RAM on a 2011 V1 and slap a video card in it, and it was okay. But the best video card you could get in 16 was probably like let's see, GTX 980, possibly in 16, maybe 780, because they skipped the 800 generation because the mobile got the 800. So yeah, I think the best thing you could buy back then, a 2011 V1 with like a 960 or 980, or probably a 780, 760. And even top notch back then, you'd be spending 1,200 hours and you still wouldn't be able to. You, you still couldn't game today on that same computer. No way. No friggin' way. 1080s were back out in 1080 was 2016. Are you serious? I thought 1080 was like a 2018 or something. 1080 Ti. Oh yeah, you get the 980 Ti back. Well, you could probably get the 980 Ti for a discount then in 2016, which was basically like now a 1070, right? So 1070 type of performance. And right now, a 1070 Ti you could kind of play with, but I don't think that guy had a 1080 Ti, especially because he said he only spent like $800 on the build. So I believe he um, probably had like a FX 6300 build with you know, probably like a 960, 970, maybe a 1060, I guess at that point, but I doubt it. I doubt it. The 1080 Ti was great. Even it still plays games today. It's pretty amazing for a card. Like I guess if you said, I called and maybe they called me and they said, "Hey, I had a build that cost me $1,400 or $2,000 back in 2016." Then I'd be like, "What do you got?" Because you might actually have something. But at for a 20, what was it? For 800 bucks, there's no way he had anything special unless he bought it used. But I don't think so. I don't think he had anything too great. What was I doing? 2016. I gamed all the way back in 2002. I played something called Day of Defeat, which was a Half-Life mod. It wasn't even Source yet. It was just a Half-Life mod. And I played it on leagues and stuff. I was really into it. I really had fun back then. Not fun where you say ha ha fun, but more like I want to kill somebody type of fun because I was mad at the game all the time. But I guess that's kind of fun, but to some people. But I was really not a happy person back then because you know I was doing sniping and 90% of the people are better than you. And you you're on a league. It was called the CAL, the Cyber Athletic League. And meanwhile, it was like, you know, nothing athletic about me back then. And I kind of quit gaming when my kids were born. Maybe I went another 2, 3 years after that, but basically I was done. And I probably haven't. The last game I played was Fortnite with my kids. That's what I remember playing Fortnite with them, and I'm kind of like a rage player. Like I'll go in guns a blazing. Like I don't have any tactic whatsoever. My whole tactic is just to try to shoot as many people as I can in the 15 seconds that I'm alive. That's my whole tactic. So not ver- not very good. I didn't know how to build anything. It was such a complicated game. I was like, yeah, this is where games are going. There's no way I could do this. There's no way I could There's no way I could play games anymore. It's way too complicated. So yeah, so it was an interesting time, I guess. Everybody, I mean, we were using like Athlon processors back then, and like 9800 video cards, whatever that might be, or 7800 video cards back then. So it was a vast difference between what we had versus what you guys have, or the younger generation that has now. 970 GTX, what is that, like fake 4 gig of RAM? Like they got sued because they only had 3.5 gigs of RAM. It's pretty funny. Like somehow NVIDIA just figured they could say 4 gigs of RAM, even though it wasn't really. I always found that funny. Uh, AMD could just try to get away with that too. Like, oh, we'll just tell the people it has 8 cores, and it doesn't. We'll tell the people it has 6 cores. Just to beat Intel. Speaking of Intel, you see what's going on with Intel now? They're kind of partnering up a little bit with Nvidia. Nvidia's spending a shit ton of money on Intel. So I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about Intel stock now. Like it was up 30% last week or something. So yeah, seems like a fair play. I think big things are happening over at Intel. Pretty much owned by the government, but big things are happening. Pretty much owned by the U.S. government at this point. Let's see how many how many amps does it take to run a light bulb? Probably this would be very dim, I'd imagine. Oh, won't even light. Let's see. Won't even light. Need 3.5 amps at least before 2.5. 2.5 before that lights up. Interesting. Yeah, I use this bulb for to test the power supplies. Figured if it could light that, it's got at least 4 or 5 amps. So uh, Oh, I'm sending Rusty a power supply, everybody, just so you know. I'm sending him out one. Got his address. I'm going to send him this guy tomorrow. So he'll have one. Then when I get his back, I'll take it apart on stream and I'll fix it. And at least it'll make some good content. Yeah, I'm not charging him anything. I just wanted to do it for him. Just wanted to get it done for him. He doesn't uh, he doesn't need to pay me. Just whatever. It's a good thing to get done. This community gives back to each other, right? Oh, speaking of that, so I was asking Coder the other day, and I was asking him. I said, "Hey, do you ever get calls from the United States to do work?" He says, "Yeah, I get calls all the time from different places." And I'm like, "Well," I said, between Chatfix, Aaron, you got Roy out in Florida, you got Tori Illa in Colorado, you got Booter in California. So I just give you all these names, and maybe we'll put a list together, and anybody calls you, you don't obviously do work out here. Hopefully, you'll give our name instead. And that would be cool. And he was on board with it, which was pretty good because I did mention it to another streamer that was not so on board with it. Cares a lot about his reputation, apparently, and uh, whatever. I guess he's a little different than Coder, um, and he doesn't want to give any work to anybody that maybe is part of this community, which is a shame because I feel like we should all stick together, especially like maybe Andy or whatever. I don't know. There's people that look for work to get done, right? People that need work to get done are probably looking around and they're looking through YouTube and they come across some of the more popular videos. It would just be nice if some of those popular people were like, you know, hey, there's a list of people I know, and you know, maybe people with good reviews or whatever. That would be nice. Are you telling me to shut up? Shutting. Who are we talking about? Squish, my only mod. Control these people. So I was doing, yeah, I was hoping that maybe if anybody wants to be part of that list, just PM me and I'll put your name as well with Coder and maybe it'll develop into some work for y'all, which would be good. I mean, some people don't need work. Uh, some people are busier than others, obviously, but the guy sitting on stream on a Sunday doing cleaning up his area clearly doesn't have any work. You know, a guy with a something sitting on his desk that he can't quite figure out and it's bothering the crap out of him clearly doesn't have any work. But you know, in my opinion, probably everybody could use like if you're doing this job, it's not always you're not always busy. Chances are you could definitely use a hand. You could definitely use some help once in a while. So if there's a list that goes out of a more popular streamer, and that popular streamer is recommending you, I mean that's pretty cool. I think that's something worthwhile. Clean. Turned out I didn't use this at all. Didn't even get a chance to. I did. Oh, by the way, I did see how hot this gets because I was kind of curious, and it only gets up to about 106 C or ish. So definitely not hot enough to melt solder. It's probably not even hot enough to clean flux, right? At 106 C. So that was a definite. That was like a non-starter. Like once I couldn't get enough heat Maybe this mixed with other things, like you can sit there, hold this with your knees and try to heat up the board. But nothing was really working for that. I feel like it was a giant failure. I wish I got a little further on that, honestly. It would have been nice. It would have been nice just to get the port off without like destroying it. But I couldn't even do that. So that was a real failure on my part. I thought I would do so much better. I would. You guys should try it. It's so much harder. I almost respect people now for sometimes bringing their ports here after they tried and they failed at it so bad and they still have traces. It's almost like that's pretty impressive. Just to have any traces left, it's actually pretty impressive. I wonder if I could have did that, tackled that another way. I wonder if I cut it a little higher on the if I cut it a little higher here, maybe, and over this side, then I would have had something to grab onto. But I think still would have ripped traces. That's my problem. How would you get that off without ripping traces? It's really a good question. Speaking of that, there's kind of bridges in there that I just noticed too. But oh yeah, you know what? This had rip traces, so yeah, unimportant. This port had to be redone. Actually, it doesn't need to be completely redone. It just has to be a trace reran. It's easy. Buddha already has a website for repair shops to register their location. Oh, I didn't even know that. Hmm, interesting. I didn't know that. Hey, now that you're here, Lee, can I ask you a question about this? Did you hear about this, or you didn't hear about this? Because kind of like I wanted to get some opinions on this guy, and I don't know if you heard about it at all. It's got like it's got a beep and nothing, and the amperage on the power supply, the current on the power supply is around 0.014 on startup. And I do see like everything heats up. The RAM heats up, the uh, CPU, APU heats up, like everything heats up real quick and then shuts down and then just sits there at, 0.014, 0.014 or so. And on the HDMI, I have like 5 volt, I have 3 volt, I have various voltages around the board, and I feel it's a very like a south, it's a south bridge issue, but I'm not 100%. And I didn't know where to go with this. Well, yeah, I mean, you could recommend Ace and Booter, but maybe the people are in like maybe somebody's looking in Florida, you know, particularly want to ship their item out. And you got Roy's Repair in Florida, or you got Chattanooga, you got Chatfix in Chattanooga, right? And you got me up here in Pennsylvania. You got uh, Colorado. You got uh, Torrey in Colorado, right? So you know, some of you guys have a lot bigger following. It would just be cool to get some work from you. That's all. Or not, don't. I don't, you know, it would be cool, but if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. Whatever. Such is life. Just trying to like keep everybody working. That's all. It looks like we're down to a crawl here, so I don't know. Did everybody enjoy my ramblings? If so, make sure you subscribe because I haven't moved off 125 subscribers in like 3 months. So it would be nice to actually get some recognition, some subscribers. like even a chance for YouTube to pay me money at one point, which will never happen, but it would be kind of nice. I've literally been sitting at 125 subs for like two and a half. Like, it feels like 2 months now. And granted, I don't put out a lot of content, but I'm trying to put out more, and I'm trying to talk to y'all, and instead of sitting here just silent while I'm working, trying to talk. I'm trying to talk about my life, trying to actually do a little therapy, you know. So it would just be nice to see some subs. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I got some traction off this power supply review. So that has like 70 views, and I think people are just kind of curious on the issues and maybe the issues I'm having. I could have made a much better video, but uh, overall, I'm using this guy and not this guy. So that probably should tell you something. Basically, wasted my money on this guy. Oh, somebody actually subbed it. That's funny. I don't know if that's true. Thank you. Let me see. Let me refresh and see. 129 now. Wow, it did change. I think I was like sitting at 125 forever. I do appreciate it. Um, it's hard to get out. Like honestly, I didn't know how hard it was just to come on and bullshit. And I do respect people that come on and are able just to spout out stuff and explain what they're doing. And all the time, mine's not all about work because I don't have a lot of work. So mine's just about like projects that I got going on, like that PS5 from the other day, which I did get working, by the way. Um, I got that working on Discord actually, and somebody was watching. Who was it? Um, Core Slug was watching as I got that working, and unfortunately, my excitement was caught on the wrong platform. It was on Discord. Um, I don't even know how. Like honestly, it doesn't make sense why that started working. It started working after I like kind of reflowed a fuse and changed one of the power converters. So it was either reflowing the fuse that mattered, which I doubt, or it was probably the power converter that I changed. And I really just changed it on like kind of like because a tech kept telling me 7002 was the issue. And I was like, well, the only shit in 7002 is that power converter. So let me just try that because I've tried everything else. Tried Wi-Fi chips and SSDs and cache, and I kept blowing up the cache on that thing. So I think the cache kept blowing up probably because the bad power converter on that, probably the reason why that cache kept blowing up, kept shorting out. So I think that's why, and I was pretty happy when I got it running. And yeah, it's together and it's for sale and you know, it's kind of nice looking. It did not have old software, unfortunately. It had uh, 9.10, which was like just outside the whole homebrew thing. So I did not get a chance to get a homebrew on that. And I couldn't sell it for more money. But honestly, selling those older power supplies are kind of a pain in the ass because you get you gotta like sell to the right person, which you could probably get more money, but you have to find that person to sell to. So it's kind of a pain in the balls. You got to put it up on eBay and just hopefully somebody sees it and buys it. You know, it's yeah, it's 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 a pain. Like it's much easier just selling a regular PS5 with updated software. 10,000 times easier to sell that because you're selling to anybody on that one. You're not just selling to the guy looking to do homebrew on a PS5 and he just happens to be looking at your eBay ad. So I've heard stories. Oh, they get $500-600 from it. I just sold one and I sold it for $400. By the time I was done with fees and all that, I ended up with $299. So you know, was it really worth it? Probably not. I'm just going to sell. I'm probably going to end up updating the one I got. I have two. One of them is the old software that can be homebrew, and the other one is not. So probably just going to upgrade the one that can be homebrew because honestly, it's just not worth waiting for that one person to try to buy your your possibly homebrew capable PS5. So, hey, Pico, if you stream, man, let us know. We'll definitely check your channel out. I mean, I'd imagine it's probably what does PITCO mean anyway? Is it like pain in the cock something? I can't think of. Tell me what it means. You gotta know. I has to know. I guess Lee ran away from this one. He's just like, nope, go scratch. How about you, Ace? You have any opinions on this wonderful Series X that I got here? I know you have opinions. I know you sometimes have opinions about what to do. Kind of just sitting on the corner, just kind of gave up on it, but I do want to get it working. I feel like it can work. I feel like there's nothing really, since it's not a 12-volt short or any other short. I feel like if I had a South bridge to try, I think this would actually fire up. Like if I had a top board from another unit and I wired it up, I think I could probably get it to at least fire up. But I don't, obviously it wouldn't boot, but I think I could get this thing to fire up. Pitco 0. Oh, that's your stream name. That's cool. Good deal. I'll sub when I get off this thing. Obviously, I can't do it now, but take on Trotters independent trading. Oh, okay. Like trading, like yeah. There's only one. It's Squish. It's the only one mod. So um, actually, I think Lee is a mod too, but I don't. But yeah, Lee's a mod too. But whatever. Just post it just with the words, and we'll assume the .com. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Squish. So, what do you, is it independent trading like stocks or no? Anything that has to do with let's see, independent trading? Oh, like blenders and crap. Sharp, microwave teardown, channel introduction. Yeah, I just subbed. So there you go. Subbed you back. Now you got 40. Cool. It's good meeting you, though. Um, yeah, if you enjoyed my ramble, please stop back. I'm going to end this now because there's nothing more to talk about. I was hoping to get a little more information on this guy, but I don't know. I need maybe a board view for it or schematics or just anything would help me on this and figure out if the south bridge is actually fixable or repairable. I do get a heat signature from the south bridge, so I know it's trying to work, but something's preventing this thing from coming on. Just have to figure out what. Oh yeah, man. I'm glad you guys stopped by, and I wish I could get that port off a little better. God, it was like one of the biggest disappointments since the never-ending story. False advertising, I should say, since the never-ending story. Complete farce. It was clickbait just to get you all here. I honestly did try. I thought it would be easier. I don't know why I thought that, but I did think it would be easier, and it completely threw me for a loop. I can't believe that there's nothing that could take that off without like a hot air station. Like if anybody's going to try that, I would recommend just buying a hot air station. Doesn't matter what, just buy any hot air station would be better than zero because what I had was not working. I mean, you don't need the Atten or in my case the fake Atten, not an Atten. You definitely don't need an Atten. You could probably use this. I use this one, the Yehua to get ports off, and I used to do it before I got that, so it's definitely possible. But if you're going to spend $120 in tools, why not just go to somebody who actually knows how to do it? It kind of makes sense. Just go to somebody that knows how to do it, and they'll do it for you. Friggin' yeah, you won't have the like. What are the chances that you'll do more than one in your lifetime? If you do get the tools to do it, and you somehow manage to get it done, the chances of you doing more than one, unless you go into this type of business and put your ad out there, it's next to nothing. So just go to somebody and have it done. Go to me. I know how to do it. I swear. All right, gents, ladies, lady, I should say. Have a good one. I'll catch you.